Good morning, Denny.
Hey, Kev.
How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you liking your new location?
I love it. I love it. I love it. We're about a mile away from Glenda's kids and grandkids, so
Good
it's
for
good
you.
for everybody. So how are you doing?
Groovy.
Huh? Groovy. Is that what you said, groovy?
Yeah, groovy. Hang on a second. What is it? Hang on. What is it? Robert, are you here?
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. Do you send to like your little bot or something that tries to record this meeting? Is that what you do?
I do. Yeah,
So,
because I take notes all the time, but it works out well because my bot transcribes everything. So like I can go back and do research on all the really key things that get said because I don't take notes super fast very well.
there's something out there. Before I knew what all that was, I just let everybody do it. But hang on a minute. Let me pause this a little bit. Resume record. Hey guys, hey, welcome to Mastery. I'm in my studio. I don't have it set up yet as far as the screen behind me. I'm working on that. I've got an event coming up here in a couple of days, so that's why I'm here getting some work done. So, welcome to Mastery. I appreciate you being on. And I don't have a sermon planned. We've had a week of recon. There may be some things you want to discuss. Looks like Matthew's coming on as well. So I'm going to open it up to you guys. What is on your mind and what would you like to go into depth with? I know that, in fact, just give me a quick second. I'm going to attempt to, and I'm doing this for the live people. Admit, share. I was going to try. Here we go. Let's try this. Share on screen. So just as a review, this past week we've talked about all of these things here. So I'm going to just flip down. Is there anything here you want to go over? We've talked about that role play. We've got this one here. And actually, Matt, I'm assuming you can see him. I'm letting people
Yeah.
in.
Yep.
So this one is about the full price offer. You can take a picture of that, or if you want to talk about that, then we have this one. And
Mhm.
this is a new buyer contacts you is coming in town in a week or two. I'll be in town. I would like to have you line up some homes for me to see, and will you preview them? One of those things. They want to invest your time. This one here says, and I'll minimize this. After seeing this home, maybe a better option would be for me to rent. That's just a few things we talked about. I'll stop sharing. What would you guys like to talk about today and go in depth on? I see a hand up. Ellie, what's your hand?
Yeah, so I would like to talk about the fact that I met with a potential seller and buyer. It's a lead that went through one of the platforms, and I got it. And we did the walkthrough of the house in that day, the introduction of my company, myself, and then we set up a meeting for this weekend. And as a follow-up call, because I sent some materials, I just wanted to know that if they receive it and they have any questions. And while we were talking on the phone, I said, I'm looking forward to our meeting on this Sunday. And then she said, oh, no, about that. I think we have to reschedule. And I said, something changed in the meantime, or what's going on? And she said, no, my husband and I, we decided that we have to postpone for a while, so I don't think the meeting is needed. So it stopped there.
Okay, so
So
are you, wait, hang on. Is that true, or do you feel like you're getting the brush?
It might be true because the house needs a little bit of care, so to speak. There
Right.
were clothes on the floor, a little bit no, not so.
Well,
And from our
the reasons for
presentation,
my question, I'll let Matt go. Here's what's going through my mind. We build up stories many times in our minds that all kinds of things are happening and they're not. So when in doubt, what's the best way to find out? Matt, what were you going to say?
Well, I hear what you're saying, Ellie. I have to answer your question by asking a question. What is your question specifically? If you had to put it into words, you gave us the scenario. What's the question? What is your question?
my question is, would it be appropriate to continue to insist to have the next appointment or to kind of agree with no? Okay.
No, no, no. You don't insist anything. You seek to understand.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I meant in my mind through insisting to ask more questions to see exactly where they are at. And because per our pre-qualified, session that we have 3 times over the phone until I got there to their house, it seemed that she's there, ready to move because the son is moved to a new school close to like an hour away from their home.
Right, right. So all you do is seek to understand. And here's why I'm giving you that feedback. Um, I had a good conversation with a client not too dissimilar from your situation. Actually, almost the epitome of your situation. A husband, wife, son lives home, he's moving out. They want to sell and move by summer. We tentatively scheduled a follow-up call to set a meeting March 1st. March 1st came, couldn't get a hold of him. March 7th came, couldn't get a hold of him. March 14th came, couldn't get a hold of him. It's March 20th now. So here's what I did. I texted him and said, "Hey, haven't been able to get a hold of you. Have you completely given up on me?" Or
Forever.
you haven't completely.
Forever. That's your word. Forever. Have you given up on me forever?
Yeah, you haven't completely given up on me, have you? And or have you given up forever? And they replied, "No, not at all. I text you. I'm so old and have been in real estate so long, I still have a landline. So they had text my landline and I never got it saying, "Hey, we'd like to meet. What's the next holiday? Memorial Day or something like that?" I don't know. Anyway, the next holiday in May or April or not Easter. The
Easter.
point the point of it is this. I in no way, shape, or form am attached to the fact that they don't want to meet right now. I just want to find out what's going on. Their reply was, "Yeah, no, we want to have it on the market the week after Memorial Day. We've got stuff going on between now and then. Give us a call. We absolutely want to meet with you." So you're
Okay.
just going to seek to understand. This doesn't change anything. So you can ask them questions like, "Well, was if you're concerned that they are brushing you off, you can ask questions like, have you completely given up on the project of moving?"
Okay. It doesn't seem likely because
Hang on,
she
it's okay.
said
We don't want,
something.
hang, Ellie, it's
Okay,
okay.
okay, I understand. Thank you so much.
Here's the point that I'm hearing Matt say, which I think is a good point. Don't take it personally initially. There may be a learning experience if they decided not to use you, but don't take it like they're saying no to you, and then
Mm-hmm.
you kind of like don't know how to respond. Matt didn't say, "Hey, have you given up on hiring me?" He just dealt with the situation. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And yes, I understand. Yes.
Yeah. So all you want to do, and so this is my advice for your scenario. Remember, detach from it, get above it, and find out what's this about. So are we are we just delaying the appointment, or have you given up? And if they haven't given up, then all you're going to find out is, well, what is the next action step?
Now,
Okay.
there's a lot of folks on here that are listening or might be watching the video that uh, you feel like the relationship's one-sided. You're texting, you're not hearing back. You met them at an open house, hey, blah blah blah, and so you don't. At some point in time, you don't know what to do. Do you keep texting? Do you like back off? Do you delete them from your database? All those types of things, and I think Matt gave you a pretty good nugget. I mean, theoretically, I mean, say, listen, I know we had a conversation 3 years ago, no, 3 weeks ago about you were interested in this area in Tanglewood, and I obviously don't want to bug you if you've given up on the idea using Matt's words,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you can ask the question, have you given up on that? Or the other thing is maybe they haven't. If you the other way you can handle it is to assume they haven't, and rather than you texting them, bugging them to respond to you, why don't you say give them something of value? For example, if you know they were looking at the Tanglewood area, hey, I know we talked a couple of weeks ago about Tanglewood, and I've had that in the back of my mind. I know you're busy, but I just wanted you to know that a house just came on. Would you like more information about it? It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like I found your puppy. Do you want it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Another
Yeah,
another um another question that I like to offer outside of the given up. People don't like to admit that they've given up on things. That's if you guys want to know why I ask that a lot, it's because people don't like to admit defeat or that they give up. So it's a subconscious it's a play on their subconscious mind. The other thing is throw the question I like to throw at a lot of people is, where do we go from here?
that's a
So
yes, very
so
good
I'll
one.
ask. So what I do is, like, the first text I send to people like that when I can't get them, or It seems like it's a brush off. Have you completely given up on the project of, or have you given up on me? And then if they don't respond again, hey, still haven't been able to reach you. Where do we go from here?
Okay, that's good.
Rowan, we're
Thank you.
going to go to you in a second. I heard a story, and I'll leave this with everybody, is that my wife made an analogy it's worth remembering, because she had her daughter who works on her team, was doing the same thing, Ellie, but there was no feedback coming back. And you wonder, well, did they die? Did they buy something else? Do they hate me? Blah, blah, blah. Then out of the blue, I mean, she lightly followed up but didn't give up. Lightly out of the blue, a month or two later, they called and said, "Hey, yeah, we're ready now." And so my wife said this: when someone's gas tank gets low enough, they pull into a gas station. But if they're running on a half a tank or three-quarters of a tank or whatever, it becomes important to get gas. So your level of importance to help them may not match their motivation. So don't give up until you know you should give up, and don't take it personal.
Here,
Well,
one more thing, Rowan, before we go to Rowan. Um, I'm staring at an email right now from a gentleman named Greg in Texas. And this I'm only saying this to you all to understand, to really understand the type of people we deal with in this industry. The only two things in life that are certain are death and taxes. And we deal with emotional beings. I'm staring at an email from this guy named Greg. The last time I connected with him was 2024. He beamed up on me. I never heard from him again. And I did my follow up call, voicemail, text. Have you given up on me? Where do we go from here? And that was it. So eventually I discontinue follow up. Here's an email from him on the 18th. So on Wednesday at 12:48 p.m. They're ready to move back. They're ready to move from Texas to Florida, and they're looking at like a 1.2, 1.5 million dollar, something like that, on the water. And so the moral of the story is, it's really not. This is why I always say, another reason why I really try to cement the fact of detachment in this, in this industry. You have no idea what's going on the other side of the equation. So just be professionally persistent. And at some point, it's okay to let them go and do their own thing. Don't burn the bridge.
right.
Do not
Rowan,
burn the bridge.
you're up, my friend.
I had two questions. The first is, I hope I'm not asking for the secret Krabby Patty formula, but do you have a master list of, objections of conditions, stuff like that I could just kind of go through and pick at?
Yes, it's GPT chat. What's your other question?
Um, I had a question about tonality with certain objections that are supposed to create doubt in somebody, like how certain are you, stuff like that. And is the curious kind of, adding the stutters and the stammers with those the important part to make it seem like you're not just saying like, hey, do you even understand this? And then using that upward inflection.
Well, I would answer the question this way, and then I'll turn it over to Matt. I mean, don't attempt to add the stutters and the stammers until you internalize what you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's more important that, in fact, if you don't know what to say, the stutters and the stammers are going to happen anyway, that even though you don't plan them. Here's the level of understanding that if I had to tell you how to do it, like, and I wasn't trying to be smart with your objections, but there's so many of them. What we're attempting to
Mm-hmm.
do is give you
A
a
framework.
framework that you
Mhm.
handle the objections, because the objections fall into two or three different patterns. So number one is, and I'm working with the author on my book, and we're going through role plays, and the author doesn't quite understand to her bones what I'm talking about, and she starts using the wrong word. So here's the level of the path I would recommend you take towards mastery. Number one, understand the concepts like you understand gravity. Now, that is a process. Now, again, it's a process. You're not going to understand it, but you're not going to be able to be convincing, or you're not going to be able to help a seller, for example, on pricing or positioning, unless you really believe what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Once you believe it, now you perfect the presentation of it. For example, Tom Cruise had to learn the lines of Maverick. Then he had to grow into the character of Maverick. That is a process, and it happens via practice, or what they call in Hollywood rehearsal. So, I mean, I'm kind of a framework guy. Matt, you want to go ahead and fill in the color if you want.
Yeah, I would echo that it is framework, Rowan. I know where you're coming from with, because I understand you're a very, very high C, and I say this respectfully, almost to a crippling uh point. It and you may have a tendency, and people with personality types like yourself, because I was there before, to get analysis paralysis on trying to perfect all of these things before you embark on whatever the journey to the goal is. Understand that perfect is the enemy of done, and the more that you try to sharpen this axe to ensure that you're geared up to address every scenario, you would be better off taking swings at bat relentlessly before instead of not before instead of trying to figure out all the scenarios in advance. Number one. Number two, I really wouldn't focus so much on on what's the exact tonality I need to have. Do I need to inject stutters and stammers, etc., into what I say? And what the reason I'm saying that is, first, focus on memorization. Memorize the patterns, memorize what it is that you want to say, the scripts, the dialogues, how to communicate. Like, memorize that first. What to say, memorize that. Then you internalize it. You make it personal to Rowan. How Rowan communicates, the cadence of Rowan. Okay? The third step, when you get to mastery, when you've mastered exactly what to say, it's internalized to you so it doesn't sound robotic, canned, or scripted. Then, when you get to mastery and you've done it as Denny and I have 10,000 times or more in front of people, then that's when it becomes a performance. And you may have to start injecting pauses and inflections and tonality and, well, frankly, stammers. Things like I just did right there.
Mm-hmm.
That comes with mastery. You don't right now, and I maybe I'm out of context when I say this, Rowan. Right now, in 1996, was it Michael Johnson was the runner with the gold shoes, Denny? I think I'm right. Anyway,
I just remember the Olympics of 1896. I'm sorry.
okay, no worries. Back when they were throwing discuses. Anyway, 1996, there was an African American runner, Michael Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, and he had gold running shoes. Okay, and he was freaking phenomenal for his time. Right now, you're trying to keep up with Michael Johnson, and you haven't figured out how to put your shoes on.
There's
Mm-hmm.
one more thing, and somebody can look that up because I do remember that. I do remember that runner. It's a good analogy. One more thing is when Matt talked about you being a C personality. Does everybody understand? If you don't, look into it. Understand the personality profiles DISC. It's very important you understand what you are, and this is a great exercise for you to practice what we're talking about. Number one, regardless of your personality style, there's certain concepts that you already know well. It may have something to do with real estate, your past profession, a sports, or a hobby. Like behind me, I've got bourbon. I collect bourbon, so I could talk about bourbon if you want to, right? So here's what you would do. To start practicing, for example, if you're a C, C's have a tendency to be very detailed, and they think everybody else likes that level of detail.
Mm-hmm.
So in your practical world, if you want to become a better communicator as you're learning your real estate skills, practice talking to other people using the different profiles. For example, if you're a C and you're talking to an S or an I, and you're talking about football, don't talk to them as a C. Talk to them as they are, not as you are. Now you're working on a different muscle, so you can be a different. What am I saying? You can communicate to their core. Now, all you have to do, and it will happen over time, you will learn real estate like you know whatever you're talking about, and you'll know how to deliver the message in their personality style. The other thing that's interesting is that sometimes we've done it 10,000 times. Sometimes, just like a professional golfer is going to experiment. So we're talking to someone, Matt, and we may think, well, I've never really tried it this way. And sometimes we're doing it because we want to see what else works. We might even be bored because we say it the same way all the time. So
Yep.
does that make sense? You guys start practicing your communication style to meet the other listener on some subjects you already know.
Yeah, I've said it a million times. We are chameleons. Anybody that does anything at a high level is a chameleon because they have to be able to amalgamate, if that's the right use of the word, to whom it is they're speaking to. So when I'm here just north of Denny, Tampa Bay area, Sarasota, etc. When I'm meeting with people locally, it doesn't matter if they're from New Jersey, New York, Colorado, California, whatever it is. And then the personality types, right? There's cultural. I'm always taking an assessment of who am I speaking to? What is their personality type? What are the backgrounds, the traits, whatever it is. And I'm doing my best to become and speak like them. Not in a patronizing way, but I just want to ensure that I'm doing everything I can to conform myself to them and not convert them to me. And that's what a lot of people at Rowan and everybody, too many people get in this industry and think, well, I'm just going to do business this way and talk how I am and act how I act. Great. Let me know how it works out for you.
Good job, Robert. Thanks for looking that up. All right, Gregory.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thanks for taking my question here. So, had a scenario yesterday where the seller wants to sell their home, and I went through the initial introduction, and asked about doing a walkthrough, and they said, yes, we can do one this afternoon. This was yesterday, and then she had come back to me and said, oh, and by the way, because I had asked, why, what's the motivation for selling, right? Why are you trying to sell your home? So, oh, my husband has ALS and is going on the hospice, and I have to put my dog down this afternoon. So my question is, when you have that kind of a response back from a client or a customer, do you put off getting the listing agreement and doing the proposal and all those normal things until after they're over this crisis? Or do you still try to work it through? Does that make sense?
Radical empathy. Radical empathy.
Right?
Well, and what I mean is, what do they want to do? It doesn't.
Okay.
If you were a server and they walked in your restaurant and you walked over to ask them, would you like a menu? And they start talking about their day, and would you turn around and say, well, they've had a bad day, I'm not going to serve them?
Yeah, they don't want food. No, they're meaning they're. And Greg, what Denny's saying is, can you hear us still?
Yeah.
What Denny's saying there is, so I coach realtors, and obviously I sell real estate, but I coach realtors. And I've always said in the past, I'm not the coach that's going to take you from 0 to 100 million. Like, I'm a mindset and a communication coach. That is my specialty. Okay. What I explain to everybody that I coach is, and when I coach, and this is applicable to clients, so bear with me, Greg. When I coach, I get on the level my client is on.
Yeah.
When I sell real estate, I get on the level my client is on. I show up how and where they need me.
Wow.
So
Okay.
when you come to me and I'm going to coach you, I'm not like, all right,
Right.
Greg, here's my scripts. Every single call you come to, this is what we're going to do. This is the
Yeah.
marching order. Here's how we're going to do it. And then you have to buy in wholesale to that. No. I say, Greg, well, what do we want to work on today?
Yeah.
What's the most important thing to us? Okay. So for your client, you do the same thing with your clients in real estate. Hey, how
Yeah.
can
Good
I
point.
show up for you today? Because
Okay.
here's the thing, she's got a need. Her
Yep. No, I
husband's an
love it. No, you're right, Matthew.
yeah, husband just got, husband's
Yep.
not long for this world, most likely. She
Right.
need so she needs your help. So radical empathy. The next thing you say is, "What? Hey, I am very saddened to hear that. Really, it kills me. How can I show up for you right now?"
Yep.
That's it.
Let me share
Okay.
one thing that I learned. My wife's family had a tragedy. Tragedy. She lost a son, and I learned that going through that grief for that family. And obviously, this lady is going through a tough time.
Yep.
We don't say, "Hey, let me be honest." We've got a list of things we don't say on here, but I'm just going to share this with you. You probably already know it. If you haven't heard it, make note of this. Never say, "I understand how you feel," because you
Right.
don't. You can
Okay.
say, "I can't imagine what you're going through."
Mhm.
Does that make sense to you guys?
Yep. I can imagine that's really tough. But don't say I understand.
Unless you're part of that club and they consider it a club, don't ever say it. So good job. Good advice, Matt. Mr. Robert, Mr. Wonderful, what's up?
So I'm curious how you would approach client. You reach out, client wanting to sell their home. They tell you that they've got a really great home, that it's spectacular and things like that. You go to visit the home, and the home is a dump.
Oh God. I already knew where you were going.
Well, wait a minute now. Do you have a buddy that's married to a beautiful lady? Do you have a
And
buddy that's married to the opposite of a beautiful lady? I mean, if they think they're beautiful, what?
yeah, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I know a guy that's married to a beautiful woman and she looks like a walrus, but it's not for me to say.
Right, right. Well, I mean, yeah, I understand. I understand the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I mean,
So are
you
you
know,
asking though, are you asking if you go and they show you the home and we've listed hoarder homes, right? There's all kinds of conditions. Are you saying do you go through, oh, this is great, this is great, this is great, if you really think it's like awful? Are you asking that?
What's your question?
no, it's just the fact that, they described a house that it was really great and things like that, and you get to the house, it's excessively cluttered. There's trash all over the place. The yard looks like it's a dump. Like I mean, crap laying all over in it, not
I get it.
manicured, things like that. I mean, just you
Robert,
know,
here. Robert, just remember this. The property does not matter. We don't list property, we
Mm-hmm.
list property owners.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So no matter what the property looks like, it could be on next to the landfill or railroad tracks on a flight pattern. It doesn't matter. You're listing them. Can you help them move,
right. Okay.
Matt?
Well, what is it, Robert? I'm side by side with you right now. Got my arm around you.
Oh my gosh, come on now.
Well,
I'm
no,
gonna cry.
no. I'm not being emotional here. But what I'm saying is, what is it we want to do here?
Well, I mean, of course, we want to help them sell and things like that, but the current condition of the house is not what you would call show ready and things like that. And
Right. What do
you
they
know,
want? What do they want to do?
and I mean, well, they want to sell, but I mean, the fear is that if I start pointing out all of these flaws, they're gonna be like, I don't understand. Our house is great, and it's like, okay,
Do you have to point out all the flaws?
no, not necessarily all of them, but some of them are gonna have to be pointed out. I mean,
Well, no. Do, and I'm going to capitalize the letters. Do you need to point out about all the flaws? So when now let me ask you this. Are they unrealistic in what they're wanting for the property?
I don't think that they're necessarily unrealistic. Although I think at the price point that their want is top of where they would be, and based upon the way the home is going to show, it may not
Show
it
right now. Show right now.
yeah, the
Right.
way it would show right now may not pull that top.
Are they open to change?
Not excessively, no.
Okay.
Well,
He is outrageously gruff. Feels as though, I mean, he's made comments to the fact that my house is, we had builders out here and they told us it would cost us $1 million to build this house now, and I'm like going,
Okay.
well, it may cost you $1 million to build the house, but the house isn't going to sell for $1 million. I can tell you that right now.
Right. Yeah.
wait a minute, but have you, I don't know why I speak this way, but you're using the word flaws.
Hmm.
They don't think they're flaws. Have you ever seen something in a store in a catalog advertised, maybe somebody wearing it to the Grammys, a fashion thing? I wouldn't be caught dead in that.
Right.
Next thing you know, you see three other people wearing it.
Right.
So I think that are you open to suggestions to improve your bottom line?
There you go.
That's how you would approach it, because, oh, well, yeah, sure. What do you mean? Well, I mean, this is the fact you have all your bird baths inside with your 15 cats. There's some people that are allergic. Would you consider, if we could get more money, moving that to the backyard?
Right.
Right.
Here's what it comes down to, Robert. When you're in the meeting, at some point, are they asking you, what do you think? Did they?
No, I don't think that. No, they've never asked me what I think.
Okay. At some point, I'm guessing there's gonna be an elephant in the room that's so big it can't be ignored. And then I would use that opportunity to ask on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being radically direct with you, how direct would you like me to be?
Okay.
Okay. And then I would ask them, I'd say, Mr. Seller, I understand you have a lot of emotional attachment or sentimental value in your home, and I can appreciate that. There's one problem with that, though. We're not buying it. So my direct question for you is this, Mr. Seller. What is most important to you about the process or about selling? Is it getting the absolute most amount of money we can get in today's market, even if it comes with some headache and inconvenience? Or is it purely getting the property sold? That's the question I would ask him. And then based on how he responds, my feedback would be as such. If he says, I want the absolute most amount of money, even if it requires a little bit of headache, all right, we need to get rid of all your junk. No mincing words. Like, not, I wouldn't say junk, but
Right.
this has to change. And then what I would do is I'd have comparables, not comparables. I'd have what properties like his that are in great or show ready condition. I'd have them there to show him, here's what our competition looks like. This is what we need to look like if you want the most amount of money. Now, if he says, I just want to get it sold, great. We can make it happen just like this. It might not be a number you're happy with, though.
So
Right.
a parallel is good too. If you were going to sell a car, would you wash it and wax it and detail it before you put it on the market, or would you just sell it the way it is?
Yeah. Would you sell it with the burrito wrappers in the back seat?
The other thing is, Matt mentioned the word feedback. Now, I know that we set up our sellers on some sort of automatic feedback. They always want feedback. Sometimes if they're not listening to you and you don't want to press it anymore, you've already let them know, then let the feedback carry the water for you. Because if you keep walking in and say, it smells like cat pee, smells
Mhm.
like cat pee, sooner or later they may get the message, and guess what? You're not the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Susan.
Right.
Uh-oh, she left.
Oh,
Susan.
she might have froze.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna I know this is not about mastery, but I think I just want to get back to basic of what are the top 5 lead sources that we should be doing right now. Kind of dumb questions, but I need to go back to basic. That the market has changed a little bit.
Top
Well, I'll
five
start with a
leads.
question. If you want the top 5, if you had to make a list and somebody asked you that question, what would you list as the top 5?
I still love my Expire because I'm the now business.
Okay.
Uh, I don't like doing open houses anymore. I don't
We're
do
not, where you
appointments.
ask for the top 5, not what you like best. So what are the top
Mm-hmm.
5?
I think it's sphere of influence. It's more top. Um, yeah, I guess
All
social.
right. So
I don't know. That's why I ask.
I'll cut through the mustard. There's the people you know, there's inbound, there's outbound. People you know, inbound, outbound. Inbound is going to cost you a lot of money. And there's no guarantee of return. You can spend $3,000 a month on leads and you might never convert them. Outbound. So there's or like my coaches used to say, my old coaches used to say, there's lead generation based marketing enhanced, or there's marketing based, and there's lead generation or prospecting, prospecting based, marketing enhanced, marketing based, prospecting enhanced. Okay, that's the only 2 types of business you can have. Marketing based businesses are very expensive and they tend to go out of business if not effective. However, prospecting based businesses tend to do very, very well because they can weather just about any economic storm because they're always finding new people. The book that I've got in my hand right now, 7 Levels of Communication, highly recommend anybody get it.
Michael
Or,
Mayer.
yeah, get it. Because who you know, the first thing I said, who you know tends to be a very powerful spoke. However, there's a lot more people that, and I buy the message, but I don't buy it wholesale because this is really about referrals and things of that nature, working your database and who you know and who they know. However, there's more people that you don't know than you do. So that's a long-winded answer to say this. The top 5 lead sources are going to be your sphere, people that you know, but you can't be complacent and wait for them to come to you. You've got to be having conversations with them. So people you know, and then the second source, the top 5, people you don't know. There's only 2. So to answer your question of top 5, there's 2. People you know, people you don't know. People you don't know, then you can break it down into A, B, C, D, which is for sale by owners. They're on the market. They want to sell. They might not be realistic. That's your job to move the dirt and find out. If somebody mentions open houses as a lead generation source, I'm going to kick you because while that can be a lead generation source, it should not be your main spoke. It should be way down on the list. Way down on the list.
I'm going to I'll put a little placeholder there. We're going to come back to that.
Yep. Okay. And then uh, for sale by owners, canceled, expireds, and circle prospecting. Okay. Those are the most readily available outside of people you know. Those are the most readily available lead sources you can access. Then tertiary to all that would be probates and pre-foreclosures and things of that. I have a few coaching clients that dabble in that. But if you need money now, get on the phone with for sale by owners. Secondarily, canceled and expireds. Tertiary, circle prospecting, then probate, pre-foreclosures, things of that nature. But make sure that you're getting in touch with your past clients and not hoping they sent. Hopium's the deadliest drug in this business. Get in front of your past clients.
So those are those that are watching, go ahead and put in the chat what you have found to be your top lead sources. When I teach Bold, we've come up with 19 different ways to talk to people. Lead generation, you're asking what are the best lead sources? It's lead generation. We've come up with 19 different ways to talk to people. That's all there is. Now, Matt, he has developed the hunting aspect, the one that most people are afraid of, and that's talking to people you don't know on the phone. You can also talk to people you don't know door knocking. That's why I wanted to put a placeholder in the open house. The open house methodology gives you a reason to door knock without selling brushes or Bibles. It also, when you look at people that have real estate on their mind, a for sale by owner has their hand up. An expired had their hand up. Someone looking at an open house may have their hand up. Higher probability than just people at random, because the gestation period, you guys, of someone buying a home, they say nowadays is 10 years. And maybe they don't start looking until maybe 6 or 12 months before they actually buy a home. That means 9 out of 10 people you talk to randomly aren't interested in real estate. Therefore, if you're going to make calls, and Matt would probably say he gets probably more than less than a 10% conversion rate when he does his cold calls. Most people get so discouraged at that conversion rate, they quit.
Right.
Now you have to build up some calluses. So of the 19 different sources, it's kind of like you're allowed 14 clubs in a golf bag, and a pro doesn't hit all of them professionally. There's probably 5 or 6, maybe 2 or 3 clubs they don't hit well and they don't want to. So if picking up the phone isn't going to ever work for you, what you have to do is find out, how do you talk to people you know regularly, or talk, when I say talk, communicate. How do you communicate with people you don't know regularly in order to get into the cycle? For example, farming, events. But these are long burn, not short burn. If you want to get into a 90-day closing, you better have somebody talking to people that have their hand up already. So, it's like, okay, so what are the 5 best? The 5 best are the ones that you will actually do consistently.
Yep. God, there's so much there. If you're starving right now, guys, because I'm not alleging that people on here are starving, because I know the market's different everywhere. But if you're starving right now, go to the people who have their hand up, which are for sale by owners. Without a shadow of a doubt, they have the for sale. They have their hand up. They want to sell in some regard. Secondarily, canceleds and expireds, because they had their hand up, and they may still have their hand up looking for help.
Yep.
Okay. Then the third piece, that's what Denny was talking about, the slow burn, the networking, belly to bell, door knocking, circle prospecting. Okay. Those are all the slow burns. You can't rely on those. Are not repeatable and duplicatable, meaning you might be able to plant a lot of seeds, but you're not going to reap a harvest, not necessarily anytime soon. Nothing sustainable. The best way to get right now business, and I've been prospecting since I got my license. That's all I had, because I was a buyer's agent. I was given the database of, here are all our buyer leads, go to work. And that's all I've ever known. So I never got off the train. However, I have coaching clients that I've got one, she reached out to me to be a prospector. But then I realized we're going against the grain here. Like, why are we, you got a good business with your sphere and your network. Why the hell are we trying to, I use this loosely. I've always said, I'm not here to convert Judaism to Christianity. Like, why are we trying to go against the grain here? Said, you do really well with your network. Keep doing that. We can add in the prospecting, but keep doing what you're doing. But so lastly, Like one of my mentors years ago said, the best diet to get in shape is the one you can stick to. So same thing here with prospecting. The best prospecting leg is the one that you're going to stick to, and even when times get tough, you're just going to keep doing it.
And the one that most people miss, the most obvious one, Matt, that people miss, Susan, I'll say this to you, is I'm shocked at how many people are afraid to go ahead and get in better flow. That's the key word, flow with the people they know,
Mm-hmm.
their database, their friends, the little leagues, the churches, this, that, and the other, because they're afraid that when you walk by, they're going to think you're trying to sell them something. And in the book that Matt's reading, I know what you call just lost the name.
7 levels of communication.
Yeah, no,
Mike Mayer.
Mike. Yeah, I know Mike. Like I just forgot his name, right? Yeah, I know him, and basically he talks about how you build up that level of communication. That it's not about selling. So if you want to, the first question I would ask you, Susan, and the people on the call is, how are you doing with the people you know? If you're shying away from adding value to their world, then I would ask you why. These people, if you had a flat tire, a lot of those people would get out of their bed in the middle of the night to help you. They
Mm-hmm.
will help you build your career as well. There's a handful, and you guys may be afraid to reach out and ask for help.
So to answer that question, I mean, this is for me personally. Going from the East Coast to the West Coast, I don't really have a big SOI.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm building friends and stuff like that, I don't want to sound salesy. Who do you know? Blah 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 blah, right? And the network of people that I'm in right now, they're mostly physicians and attorneys. So the level of that is completely different than a $500,000 property here, right? So, and maybe because my personality is very direct to the point, like, hey, do you want to buy or sell? Rather than nurturing and like dance my way around it. And I think that's my biggest problem. It's not being able to, it's my personality as well as delivering that message across.
But when you're working with professional people, what do they value the most?
Time.
Time. So I've been here a long time doing this, and I've worked in a new home community and worked with agents that basically had the in with generally if they're a hospital or a practice is bringing them in, they've got a human resource person that controls that, right? And you might be working with the physician's spouse, whether it be a male or female or whatever. And so what you do is you build the relationships with the people who have the relationships. We just had the largest sale, you guys, second largest sale in the nation in the history of residential real estate took place in Naples last year. One sale, 225 million. The biggest sale was 238 million in New York City, Central Park, and that was Ken Griffin. And so people want to do those like 50 million, 110 million. We've got one now that's even more expensive, like 290 million. That's all relationships, Susan. So you build the relationship with the people that control those types of people. Does that make sense?
It does. No, this is a relationship business. I do get that. But I think it's more like I would like the now business, right? But I also like
Well,
like
then you're going to have to find people in a lower price range that aren't working through an intermediary, which open house or whatever, in order until you build those relationships.
Right. Right now. So and I'm not making allegations or insinuations that people are starving, but I like my business. I genuinely say I'm in the striving or starvation mode right now. Why? Because I have a lot of really good relationships. However, my business is not to the point because I started my own practice after leaving my family's practice in 2017 or 18. I lost all of the relationships prior to that because they went to my family. Okay. I'm okay with that. So I'm still now after how many years? 7 or 8 years, I don't know, on my own. Now I'm starting to build those relationships are starting. The chickens are coming home to roost now. So I'm just now getting it to where those relationships are like, hey, this guy wants to sell this. This guy wants to sell that. My relationships are starting to pay off. Keep in mind, Susan, the relationships are a long game, what Denny's talking about. And that's okay, but you got to start now. Now, if you're in starvation mode, that's not a bad place to be. I call it starvation or striving. You're in striving mode. You got to find the right now. And as Thomas Edison said, opportunities are commonly missed because they're dressed in overalls and look like hard work. You're going to have to get on the phone. You got to get on the phone and get in front of people, focusing on that right now business, while also time blocking significant blocks of time or days where you're then building those relationships. But keep in mind, those relationships aren't going to be right now. So you need to, what I would advise to somebody, what this looks like from a tactical, practical perspective is 3 days of your week, you're going after right now stuff for sale by owners, canceled, expireds. Okay. And then 2 days a week, you read the book, 7 Levels of Effective Communication, and you've got 1 or 2 days a week where you're just meeting with people solely for the purposes of building a relationship, finding out what you can do to be of value. And here's the crazy thing. I guarantee you eventually, if you do that effectively and correctly, the relationships will far exceed the right now business that you're doing 3 days a week.
You're
Eventually.
right. You're right. And the interesting thing is too, and I'm talking to everybody, Susan, not just talking at you, uh, is that the relationships you want with people, these people that are the gatekeepers of maybe relocations, this, that, and the other, they already have a relationship with an agent.
Mm-hmm.
However, so what you want to be, it's kind of like, okay, you've the relationship you build is, hey, listen, I know you've got a relationship with Steve. That's cool, but there may be a time that he's out of town. Can I be your go-to if you're in a pinch? Just give me a
Mm-hmm.
shot. I'm in the bullpen. Give me a call if you're in a pinch. That's how you build that, because sooner or later, their go-to person maybe strikes out one time,
Retires.
whatever. What you want to be. Same with a farming a community. Every community worth its salt has an A agent there, the gorilla it's called. So don't say, well, I'm not going to do it because that Sally's there or Susan's there. People want a choice. Work your way in to be number two.
Yep.
And there's
But
a
remember, but to the point I just made a minute ago, don't make that 100% of your effort. That's where people go broke and get out of the industry. They focus, all right, I'm going to focus 5 days a week on becoming the gorilla in the neighborhood. No, 3 days a week, you need to be going after people you don't know, doing the hard work. Then 2 days a week, or one day a week, you're going to be hyper focused on either farming in those neighborhoods, building a presence, or getting your butt in front of people, building relationships with zero expectation of return.
Yeah, and here's the thing, I do find like Manhattan Beach is it's a very exclusive area as well where we are, and for that reason, when you call them, they don't even pick up
Right.
because they already have that. I mean, when you go to luxury and high, like super high end, the agent is all about relationship and networking.
Yeah.
You don't just call those, right?
Mhm. Yeah. I know a couple of the people out there, the movers and shakers. They sell 10 deals a year, but those 10 deals a year are millions upon millions. I get it.
Yeah,
And here's the thing. You're not going to get them to pick up the phone, most likely. I deal with them here, downtown Sarasota, Bird Key, Siesta Key. Now, I mean, I get a lot of these people on the phone, but I'm talking about the relationships. Even if you speak to them, it's hard for you to get in. So knowing that you need to work those are the scenarios where you work your way in a relationship capacity. You're not going to be able to kick that door. Maybe you might be able to kick the door down one time in a thousand by
and
prospecting. So
right.
the right now business, it's not going to be those. If you want to evolve to
Absolutely.
those, that's going to be the relationships.
And in order to do that, what is networking?
Yeah. Well, like you said,
Well,
you got
all right. Yeah, then that would not for now. Business is not networking. One of
no,
my
no, no.
one
No,
of
we
my
talk about
favorite
the higher.
one of my favorite sayings is one of the favorite hiding places for real estate agents is in learning. The second, and if they want to hide with alcohol, they go to networking.
Hmm. Yeah, guys, you will never see. Man, I'm glad, Susan. I'm so glad you brought this up because I get tired of the Mickey Mouse BS that agents are fed by a lot of people in this industry, and it makes me sick because they talk about going to all the networking events and all the board events and all. Listen, you're not going to catch me in an office meeting. You're not going to catch me at the board of realtors meetings. Why? Because there's a bunch of all there's going to be there are realtors, attorneys, title offices, home inspectors. No, you need to find out. Like, okay, I'm thinking out loud for a second. You've got this group of past clients, right? They kind of know you, they kind of like you, they kind of trust you. Who do you want a connection with? I want to be connected with an attorney, or I want to be connected with. Just ask them. Hey, I'm looking to connect with attorneys who. You're not going after a sale, right? No, I'm looking for a connection with an attorney. Can you connect me with this type of person or whatever it is? Or, you know, yeah, I'm just going to stick to that because I could get really complicated here. Go to your sphere, the people who know, like, and trust you, and the relationships you want to build. Ask for them. I want to build relationship. Do you know a really good attorney that does this? Okay, typically you can start with attorneys. Why? Because attorneys are accessible. Well, guess who attorneys know? Doctors. Guess who attorneys know? CPA. Well, and CPAs too. The gatekeepers tend to be the attorneys, CPAs, things of that nature that then connect you from there. But don't go to the board meetings, the board of realtors is what I'm saying, thinking that you're going to slam dunk a $200 million listing. No,
Yeah.
those are going to be that's it's like last thing I'll say. It's like when I know nobody in here. I hope nobody in here is in a motorcycle gang, but when you're in a motorcycle gang, you start as a pledge, and you get a vest that doesn't have any insignia on it. You're just wearing a vest. Okay. Then you can become a member. Then when you're a member, then you've got your sergeant at arms, you've got, your vice president, president. There are steps to it. Okay. We're pledge. We just want to get our foot in the door. So you're starting at the baseline, building relationships with with people, through people through people and then those will compound into what Susan, I know, is in your head right now, which is I want to be up here, right? I'm down here right now, but I want to have the relationships that are up here. The Derek Jeters who sold his house on Davis Island for $22 million in Tampa. I want to have the relationship with his gatekeeper. You're going to have to work your way there through the people that you know.
So we have to kind of put a bow in it. I see Rowan hand. If we can answer your question quickly, because I've got another appointment. Here's a universal principle, guys. This is Zig Ziglar. If you help enough people get what they want, they'll help you get what you want. So
Mm-hmm.
as you're thinking about building your business, and Matt's talking about attorneys and doctors and going to these events, if you want to move up the chain from a price point standpoint, you may have to go to the art shows. You may have to go to the
Mm-hmm.
Philharmonic, whatever.
Yes.
Ask people how you can help them build their business.
Mm-hmm.
Are you accepting new clients? I meet people that are moving into California or Florida. I would like to be able to send you business. When you start coming from contribution, it's kind of like, it's the law of the universe. It's going to come back to you. Focus on helping people build their business. They'll help you build yours.
Yeah, Denny, thank you for saying that. I was trying to get there, but I was stuck in my own brain. If you wanted to meet a marathon runner, right? The Michael Johnson, for example. If you want to meet Michael Johnson, one of the number one track and field athletes of our lifetime, you're not going to find him at a bar. So go to where these people go to build those relationships, Susan. So yeah, like Denny said, the art festivals, you might have to pay a few bucks to get into some of these events. But I promise you, baby, and I said not derogatory to everybody, but I promise you, man, when you finally break in, it might cost you a couple of bucks.
Right.
It will pay you back.
You go to those these people that are very philanthropic are in that echelon. And so when you start going to these auctions and supporting the children's hospital, blah, 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 what's interesting about that, there's a lot of the majority of agents won't make that investment. So the air up there is very rich, yet very thin.
Yep. And guess what? All those people at those events want to do? Talk about what they do. And here's the thing. It's on my list. It's on my wigs, my hairy audacious goals, because I've gotten to a point, and I say this with radical humility. I have cultivated a net worth personally that I want to give back. And I want to go to these events. I intend to go to these events, and I haven't done it because I'm so busy in the shuffle. But the crazy thing is, I know the coach in me knows if I spent whatever the entry cost to one of these events is, I could cut out 90% of the BS that I do now. If I just made the sacrifice. Now, Susan, I'm not saying, and everybody, I'm not saying stop what you're doing. I'm saying if you just time block, devote the time to do these things, it will be the catapult. I promise.
Yeah, and you can't do it all. Just do something you're passionate about. If you like animals, do animals. If you like children, do children. If you like alpaca, do alpaca. Other than that, did you guys learn something today?
Yes.
Did Rowan?
I did. Now you guys are making me do my community event where I'm going to do board games at the library, and it's going to be RSVP only. So I'm going to try to do that. And there's a lot of folks here, I think. And
find something you like, and this is for everybody. Find something that you're passionate about, whether it's art, whether it's a specific charity. High net worth individuals all hang out. That's why I was saying earlier about if you want to hang out with Michael Johnson, you're not going to find him in a trap house or in a bar. No, you're going to find him on the track, or you're going to find him do it go. High net worth individuals hang out with other high net worth individuals. Pay $200, get into a gala, get into something you like, some type of festival. That's it. But do not make, please, this is the final pin in this. Do not delegate every day of your production to that. You need to be doing other activities. That can be one of them.
Right. There you go. All right, guys. Love you. Mean it. Knucklebump. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Thank you.